Okay, so we're going to set up to print our part using our 3D print management system, 3DPrinterOS. So you need to go to 3DPrinterOS on the web and select the sign in tab and then input your email address, the password that you would have set, and select sign in. So it brings you directly to the Files tab. So here we have some sample STL files. That's the format you need, STL. You can create an STL file from within SolidWorks if you use the Save As option and select STL. So once you have your STL saved from SolidWorks, we can add that file here. So select Add Files, and we select from our computer, and I'm just going to take in a sample T shape and open, and the file loads, so I can see that it is actually an STL. So the first step we need to do is we need to go to Layout, and here you will see a representation of the print bed. The printer is always set for the Prusa Mark 4, so you can see that here on that tab across the top and also on the side. So looking at the print bed, I'm just using the right mouse button just to maneuver around the view. So I obviously need to move that shape into the center. Okay. So I can quickly do that here by selecting the option on the right hand side, center. And the other thing to check is to make sure that the part is sitting on the bed. Sometimes when the file comes in, it may be a little off the bed, so if you select on bed here on the right hand side as well. So this is the layout view. So if it was the case that I wanted to add some more files for printing at the same time, I can just go to Add File here, and it gives me a selection of files in the view that are already uploaded. So these duck shapes are just samples, so I'm going to select one of those and go Add, and that will bring that file in onto the bed as well. So you can see it has landed in the middle of our T shape. So if I wanted to, I can just move that out there, which would be the sensible thing to do. And now I have more than one shape on the print bed. So I don't need this duck shape. So if I go over here on the left hand side, I can just X that or delete that from the print bed. Okay, so I'm happy enough that my shape is centered. So now we go to Slice, which is up here in the top right hand side. That's the next step. So in the Slice view, we have this window. Again, the printer is selected already, so just make sure that it is the Prusa Mark 4. The print profile, that's the settings, the various settings. Again, we have a standard setup here, but you can vary these settings if you wish. The layer height will affect the surface finish of the part. We normally set that to 0.2, but depending on I suppose the scale of your part, if it's very small, you might need to reduce that down. So to change that, I can just input a different value here, or I can move this slider here. Okay, but we normally, as I mentioned, we work at 0.2, and that gives adequate results. The material is PLA, so that's just a given. That's the material that we're printing in. If you need to use something other than PLA, you can just make contact with me and we can see what we can do. The wall thickness, generally we don't play around with that, so that's you can leave that as is. The density, this is one where we're using a 20% infill density, and that it's the density of the part. If I set that to 100%, it will be a completely solid part, but the downside is it takes longer to print. So a 20% infill density gives us pretty good results. But if we want to change it, we can just move the slider here, and or I can actually input the value here if I needed to. Okay, so I'm going to set that back to 20%. Temperature is a given. You don't have to change that. That's the temperature of the filament. It's set to 215 degrees. The bed temperature, this is important because it helps the part to stick to the bed, and that's we need that to work well. So that's set to 60%. And then this option here, this is an adhesion addition. So we can actually add a brim to the part, which helps it stick. Now, depending on the size of the part, sometimes you don't need this. If it's a big surface contact, you may not need brim, but a lot of the times it's no harm to add that. So we select brim. Support, I will come back to that. We're just going to skip that here for the moment because we don't need support to print this T-shape. So I have all my settings correct, so the next thing to do is to go to Slice and Toolpath Preview. So in this window, it just takes a couple of moments for the view to generate, and when that comes in, you will see the representation of the sliced part. Okay, so here in the print preview view, we can see our T-shape. So I'm just scrolling out there just to get a better view. Across the top here, we have the amount of filament that it will take to print the part, so 61.49 grams, and the estimated print time. So to print that shape would take 4 hours, 19 minutes, and 30 seconds. So we have an animation option here, and if I select play, we can actually see that building. Okay, or I can just pull down the manual bar there, and again, so you can see that infill pattern. So that's a 20%. If that was set to 100%, that would be a completely solid view there. Okay, so happy enough with all our settings. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go to print. So this sends the print to the printers over the network. So in the view here, we get a list of our printers that's available to us. We have them numbered 1 to 18. We have 18 printers. Okay, and MK4 is the model. Okay, we see that for number 10 printer, we have PLA is the material that we print in, and the filament color there is red, and at the moment there's 978 grams on the machine. And the 0.4, that's the nozzle size, so that's a given, we don't change that. So the green printer is idle, so that's ready to go, so we can send the print to green printers. Red are printers that already have a job on there, and you will notice beside the printers we have a small little black box. There is a green button and a red button on there. The green button, you need to press that when you finish your job. When you take away your print, you need to press the green button so it releases the printer for the next print. Okay, so what I can do there is just to check that there is something on that machine. I can look at the camera view, and it should show me a print that's already there from another student. Okay, so I need to use one of the green printers. Just scrolling down, we will see that there is number 13 is already printing, so we can again look at that if you wish with the video view, and that's happily printing away a shape for somebody. So that's the printer view. So if I want to print printer number 10, all I need to do is select the radio button here on this side, and select print at the bottom. So now the print is being sent to the printer, and the next view then is some download information. So you can see the view of the print bed, and it looks like it's clear, and there is that little box that we use. So the green button needs to be pressed when you take away your print. The red button is there so that we can cancel a job if we are in the room and we see a job that's not printing correctly. You're quite entitled to press the red button. So the download information here, it's telling us that the extruder is heating at the moment, so that will heat up to 215 degrees. The bed temperature will heat up to 60 degrees, and again, that's the material, it's red, the filament, and that's the quantity on the spool. This is our file name, 4 hours 20 minutes to print, and it's going to take 61.5 grams. Okay, so we could pause at this stage if we wanted to, or cancel, but we're happy enough. You will get an email to say that the print has started, and you'll also get an email when the print has finished. You can see the bed starting to move there, and you will also get in that email, you will get a time lapse of the part being printed. Okay, so that's how we set up a part on 3D Printer OS for printing. So thank you.